Welcome to the back room where we are the Real Kings podcast, and we got a whole lot going on for you. Dane is out today, but Doc Rock is here on the ones and the twos. Since y'all said I sound like a DJ, my man Champ is in the build. I'm gonna get that right. My bad, Champ. I'm sorry, man. I apologize.
We're running out of time to get that done, man. Season right around the corner now, I feel like.
And Mr. Gordon is certainly with us today. Man, how y'all doing, man? How y'all week been?
It's good, man. Getting ready for football season coming up. You know, some fights last night, so I'm happy. Like, is Dane really in the back rooms, man?
He got lost back there, man. He got transformed. He's enjoying it. He's trying to explain to us that it's really better in the back room than it is in his real world and his real life.
Yeah, Dane's back rooms will be crazy. You know what kind of stuff will be just halfway in the floor in there?
Right, it'd be
koofies will be in the ceiling.
False designs on the wall.
Oh, it'd be 12 of his wife back there roaming around, different forms. Father's Day cards trying to kill you.
Little half the manhood posters and stuff.
Oh, man. Man, you are here with the Real Kings, man. We're going to get into some D23 news today. We're going to definitely wrap up what happened with House of Dragon since y'all was waiting on me to watch it, and maybe talk a little bit X-Men, all things X-Men, because there's a lot of X-Men things going on.
We got to get into that casting, man.
and we got that new hotness trailer off the backs of the D23. But before we get into that, most importantly, is JD5's mama going to ruin the season for us, Jaden? We need to talk about that first.
How long Can we just hope that the coaching staff is smart enough not to let her and Diggs interact? It's just,
oh man, that's toxic.
Bad news.
Very bad news. If our quarterback and our next to star wide receiver is on the outs because of his mama, man.
You know what's wild is the controversy with the LSU stuff. Like nobody off the bat, like everybody was just like, his mom is tripping.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody was like, man, Jaden need to, he's being arrogant. He's like, everybody just knew. It was
I think a lot of that is always somewhat true with professional athletes because their agents are so influential on their decisions. And so with that being like a sports business decision, you got to kind of assume that moms had say in that. Mm-hmm. And even if Jaden was wholeheartedly trying to do that and his mother disagreed, ultimately that's what happened. So,
right.
But it's just on brand with all the other stuff that she kind of does. And man, I love black mamas, man. I do. And I know that the majority of these players probably do got moms that care about them more than anybody else.
Yeah.
But man, if anything, you got to teach your kids to be able to stand on their own, be representative of themselves as grown men. Even if you want to influence from the background, like she don't do that. She be out on Front Street on everything. John sent that little note, bro. I said, this is perfect timing because I watch quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Quarterback, Jaden Daniels is one of the featured quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
She all up in it.
Yeah. She
to the point where I was like,
all of the videos.
Yeah. I was like, did his father pass away? Let me look it up. Man, Jaden Daniels' father is present, involved,
and well. Yes.
Good. Like he coached them, but they don't want that story out there, I guess.
Yeah. And you kind of saw some of the same stuff a little bit with Lamar Jackson too, where his mom was his agent. Yeah. Like, so I'm praying that if and when Jaden's rookie season contract is up and is he still playing well, that it don't get so crazy. Like, because it got crazy with Lamar for a minute here.
Yeah, but she doing autographs and photos at training camp, the preseason games, and it's a little bit more there than just the typical protective mom.
Oh, it is. Way more. It's called enmeshment. That's what we call it in the counseling field. There's very bad boundaries between he and his mother, and it's unhealthy, man. Like
it is. Yeah.
She don't see it because she's like, "This my brand, and you can't nobody tell me what I'm doing and how to raise my son and how to manage him," which is fine, right? No one can tell you, but it don't necessarily mean it's healthy, and you make good decisions for him, which putting him on blast because to your point, when he made the comment about the LSU 5 thing, like he getting cooked for it. He getting roasted. You know what I mean? You ain't taking the brunt of that. They looking at him like, man, your son a little boy. He a grown-ass man. Let him grow up. He, 25, 26?
And it don't help that Ayuk, when he was going through whatever his mental health
called him out
was,
for it.
He was saying stuff like that. What I think is also going to be interesting, too, is like, it would be a different thing if his last season was like on par with his, rookie season. But he got a lot of pressure on his shoulders.
That's true.
Already. You don't bring and honestly, the way this roster is set up, they bringing in a lot of old heads. I think it's going to be an uphill battle, man. NFC East is going to be tougher than I think that some of the people are saying.
Brutal. It's about to be
and I don't know how the Commanders stack up. So you adding additional pressure and controversy when this already he got a lot to prove because it's a lot of critics basically saying that his first season was a fluke. And, last season, whether it was injuries or not, they still watching him and he going to be under the microscope.
Yeah. And, the best agent in football is Nicole Lynn. So it's a black woman. But she don't do none of this. She represents her athletes. And I think in part, like, I don't know if Jaden's mom would like to represent other people, but that would help. You know what I mean? Maybe just like go somewhere else to my else training camp. Like represent multiple people or something. Yes. Just don't pigeonhole your son in front of your son at all times.
Yeah.
So,
and the bad thing is he don't even seem to see it. That's the most embarrassing part about it, right? Like at some point he is, and it's going to cause other conflict. You know what I mean? Like you're going to have to get in front of that, pull her aside. Like you gotta chill.
Maybe he don't want to get whooping. Wear your ass out. Get on that TV talking about me again. Think this is. I brought you in this world.
I'll take you out.
I brought you in this league. I'll take you out.
Right. Well, hey, man, that's a good segue, man. Speaking of taking people out, man, how many people Dr. Doom gonna take out in this film, man? Because he looked awfully damn
like we say in the DMV, everybody.
So, James, what you thought about the new trailer, man?
Hey, before I ain't going full nerd again because y'all came at me.
No, go full nerd. It's okay. Go for it, man.
I don't have Dane here to help me stitch together the universe. But I will say I'm still apprehensive. But after Spider-Man and after now seeing Comic-Con and D23, I'm a lot more confident that Marvel is getting back on the path. It's still a wait and see kind of thing, but that Doom, the trailer that they just released, I was like, okay, it seems like they're going to take the time as much as they can in the movie to build him up and have him actually be like on par and have power. I like how they're adding the mystery. Like, I don't know what these Doom extra witches and there's different Doom armors throughout time.
So speaking of that, I had that theory well in advance before we saw anything. I was like, I guess it was a result of feeling like we realized Robert Downey was being cast as Doom. My initial theory was like, well, I hope he's not Doom for real. Like, I hope there's some sort of arc to it, and that there's a real different villain actor playing him. People are starting to see through some of these trailers different eye colors for Doom. So they're now theorizing that Robert Downey is a version of Doom, but that there actually might be another one as well by another actor.
Yeah, I saw someone. So, and I would, the nerds, they like, it's going to be, is it Cillian Murphy?
Yeah, Cillian Murphy. Yeah. And I don't even care if it's not him. He'd be great, but I just think that's a more interesting story if that we transition at some point to
having the Russos involved and then having their writing team involved. It at least seems like there's a plan and it's intentional. I do like how there's still a bunch of mystery surrounding it. Like, I like hey, we're going to be guessing until this drops or there's a leak. What's my guy went on the red carpet and ruined Jean Grey.
Oh, right.
Like that happens. We're going to be still trying to figure out exactly what Doom's background is. And I think that's cool because it seems like everything after Doomsday, they just either it leaked or they told us and confirmed it. Like there was no mystery.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a cynic against Marvel right now.
Yeah.
I kind of felt good about Spider-Man the entire way through.
Right.
But I'll be honest, Avengers took me back to feeling like I don't know. Like I'm kind of like not pessimistic, but I'm not optimistic either. Just kind of in wait and see mode. But I think a lot of what I'm hearing from other fans is totally optimistic. Like fans seem to be loving this sort of rollout and looking. I mean, everybody gonna go see it, but I think they're doing a good job of marketing because it's working for the average person.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's kind of like the opposite. We was talking about it in show prep and then before the in the chat and stuff. It's like Marvel's D23 and Comic-Con were a super success and their summer was a success. And then you look at DC, this time last year, everybody was like, Superman's great. We love it.
Yeah.
Now, like DC's cooked, Superman was whack, Supergirl is whack. Like, so it's like it automatically flipped. And DC didn't seem to have as good of a Comic-Con and all that stuff. Like Clayface to me looks good. So I think that'll get them on the right track. But I don't know if that has the mass appeal to combat some of the naysayers. Like
somebody said Peacemaker fell off at the end as well too.
But somebody did a good comparison. They said the way James Gunn is rolling out movies since he took over is equivalent to as if Marvel had rolled out, you know, Iron Man and then went to like Agatha then went to like Guardians 3. Yeah, it's like
well, that's probably a bad example because Agatha was like that, but it's okay. I know what you meant.
And I don't think they was really necessarily saying what was good or bad. They was just saying like the actual strategy of rollout just doesn't make much sense at all. Like it kind of setting him up for failure. And I said that from the beginning. If you gave me that job, I'm probably not going to run the risk of doing this long 10-year plan because I may not make it that long. When I roll out, we going A-list up front heavy. And Lanterns is a version of Green Lantern that I think is a sweet spot on TV. But I'm going Superman, Batman, like Flash. Watching Spider-Man reminded me, Flash ain't going to pull in that kind of money, but Flash is that kind of character. If you make a good with kids and stuff, kids would go crazy if you made an excellent Flash movie.
And Flash was a little more relatable and compares to Marvel because he's not like a godlike alien. Like he has the scientific background where he got his powers through science and all that stuff. So he's a little more grounded. So there's a lot.
Man, Flash could sell sneakers. Look at what Sonic did. Like kids would love that.
I think there's still like, it was recency bias, and for I think
of course
because of the casual, like that Ezra joint was booty.
So we also got the Vision Quest trailer. I know James is looking forward to that, so we can complete the trilogy. You know what I mean? Wanda,
that's what it is now.
All along.
That's what it is.
Rooms listening, live. You hear? Are y'all gonna finally watch Agatha, man?
Nope. Nope. Y'all got to give me the Cliff Notes, and I'll be all right.
Because it's a bunch of like, shows and stuff that are having these same debates, and I don't think I've watched one thing where everybody has seen it. It's split, and it's a down the middle where people are like, I'm not gonna watch it, and then the other group is like, it was really good, it surprised me, y'all should watch it. But it's people that are like staunch against firing that joint up on Disney.
You know what's so funny? Out of our group, Dane is sort of the linchpin. He hasn't watched either Agatha or the Marvels, or Miss Marvel.
I'm surprised.
I'm
not surprised at Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel was good, but okay, man.
It wasn't for us for real. And I don't think it's really nothing in it that really had any connective tissue other than the Marvels. So it kind of connected that, but then that's it. You don't really need to see it.
Well, Agatha wasn't for us either. That was for my wife and my daughter, but
it was.
But you loved it.
I'm surprised though, because I thought Dane read the Miss Marvel comic book. Didn't he say he read that joint? Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe you mean the Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel version. Yeah. I don't know. What else? Ahsoka?
Well, go ahead. Sorry. Just with the Vision Quest trailer, I thought it was interesting because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how they were going to continue it. I thought it was a novel idea that, Vision's recreated. Again, we remember at the end that he was, not quite the Vision that we remember. He's like, a copy or whatever. But I like how this takes place in his head and he creates his own like robot family, whatever. It's different.
So if I'm not mistaken, where we left off, he was simply a consciousness that Wanda was using or that she created in her own world, but then that consciousness got transferred to the white vision that then escapes at the end. And so we don't know where it went, but obviously I'm guessing is this consciousness, I guess, what we're seeing that created this world or whatever.
Weird thing where he's Vision, but he's not Vision. You know what I mean? He has all the memories, and for all intents and purposes, but the real version of him died. It's kind of like what was that movie, TV show, Altered Carbon, where you could download yourself into another body.
But I think that's okay for an actual program to begin with. Like, you know what I mean? It's more of like a transfer of data. But I think what also was interesting is that Ultron is still in there. And so they're bringing him back. And I think we're going to see not only a physical version, but you see him as what do you call it? A manifestation of a father figure looking. And it's actually
James Spader.
Yeah, James Spader. Yeah.
And that's where I was confused, I guess, based off the trailer, somehow that, astral projection, whatever, AI universe that he creates, somehow Ultron becomes sentient and tries to escape or something, and that's going. So
I think there's another. I saw a YouTube clip of some other character they're introducing that's supposed to be like the son of Vision, and I think that, but not Wanda's kids, but I think that is going to be the antagonist of the show. I would need Dane here to tell me who that character is.
Yeah, I was just going based off the trailer. But it's interesting.
Do y'all think this is gonna also contribute to somehow Vision popping up in Avengers or somehow?
I think he's going to shut himself down at the end of that, and that ends the story of Paul Bettany and Vision. That's a wrap.
I don't feel like that with Marvel. I feel like he might not show up in Doomsday, but I think he's going to pop up at some point. And you know what I mean? Like,
because he's computer, he can always do it. You can always bring him back, but I don't think Marvel has plans to.
Yeah,
not with the reset and stuff.
He pops up. I think it's too much.
I would. Well, that was a great transition, but we'll go ahead and hit Ahsoka. What did y'all think about the new Ahsoka trailer? Because I know Lav and Dane probably looking forward to this one, especially.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed season 1. Like, as far as the Star Wars universe and what they've been doing lately, for me, it's like Mandalorian and Ahsoka are the things that I enjoyed, that I feel like are perfectly done in series format. The trailer didn't make me feel like it's really falling off at any point. Like, it's plenty of Jedi stuff. She does a good balance of like the stars and being up in really, what do they call it? Star Wars? Like, I guess.
The galaxy
space fighting.
Or whatever. I don't know. Yeah.
So, it just looks like it's good. I actually wasn't sure they were going to recommit to a season 2 because it had been a while.
It did. Yeah. And like, I didn't need it, but I'm good for it. I like, kind of like Lav saying, I like Ahsoka because it seems to pivot off some of the stuff that was good for Star Wars, like Clone Wars and Rebels and all that stuff. So that was kind of fun to get some of that mixed in to the fold. And I just kind of like, I don't mind Jedi, but I do like a break from the Skywalker lineage. So just following different adventures is good for me, man. Like, and it's not bogged down with all the Star Wars lore, because I like Star Wars, but I don't go full nerd on it like some of the other people do. So I don't necessarily recognize when they go off canon and all that stuff. And that's really what annoyed people. But with Ahsoka, you don't really have to worry about it too much if you watch Clone Wars or Rebels.
Yeah. What they don't need to do with this is make a film.
Nah.
After just keep it on the
agreed.
Disney Plus is sufficient.
Yeah.
Did y'all watch Mando and Grogu ever?
No.
Nah, I'm waiting on that.
It's streaming now, right?
Nah. They are taking unusually long to put that on a streaming platform. Like,
interesting.
So crazy.
Jonathan today, he's like, I thought it was streaming. I just don't care.
I'm just going to keep ignoring it. Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It just was like, you could have watched it on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
It just was a bigger budget, but it was good. If it just didn't need to be in the movie theater. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got you.
I mean, I think a lot of their stuff might feel like that. They also released the news. They doing Starfighter. Well, they've been doing that for a while, but it's probably closer to finish now with Ryan Gosling. And I guess they announced his name and like that was a big deal or something. I guess maybe the Star Wars fans just been like scratching and clawing for details or something.
Yeah, I think that they were somehow trying to link his character again to that Skywalker lineage, and then we were starting to like, oh, his name, but its name is at the end of the movie. It's gonna change, and he's gonna. I was just like, I'm good, man. Like, I'm just happy for Gosling.
So what is he like? Big contracted with Disney right now to do 2 or 3 projects? What is that?
No, I think he's attached to the director. Like they have history and they like have done well. Well, I don't even know that they did well together, but I guess Disney likes them together.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that relationship has probably enticed Disney to want to do business more with him because of Barbie. So
and
like, that means Barbie. Something in Hollywood. Like when you rolling out projects and they're killing, making money, it's almost like in sports when the analytic guys tell you that somebody is better than LeBron or whatever.
Yeah, he on his run. He had Barbie, and then Hail Mary did well, and it's so I think he get
right. But he's doing the Ghost Rider, right? That's what I'm.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. Is like Disney probably like, let's keep doing business with him.
Mm-hmm.
I know Tom Cruise had a 10-picture deal like with some studio, like,
and this Starfighter joint been in the works for years at this point, so it's just getting finished up. So
we also saw I guess a teaser for Incredibles 3. I think that's Dane in my movies because we at that age when we got kids, sort of young enough to still be really into that. You didn't?
Incredibles 2 was all right. No, that job was good.
I ain't gonna lie, like I love Incredibles, one of my favorite Pixar movies. I mean, it's probably in my top 3.
Mm-hmm.
But
the original,
I love it. I love it. Well, just the franchise in general is like I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
But I almost kind of was a little disappointed because I thought it might be closer to a live action. Since Disney's on this run, which again, ironically, they releasing Tangled as a live action now.
Yeah.
And Tangled didn't come out that long ago. You know what I mean? So Incredibles is in a window where they could have did that, but
you can't do that with Fantastic Four, man. It's too much overlap between those two families.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I'm actually surprised they moving forward with a lot of this stuff because like Moana didn't do well. And what was the live action before that? Snow White?
Yeah, Snow White was terrible. That really got bombed. That bombed. Yeah.
The Black Joint.
I think Ariel did okay.
The Ariel joint.
Little Mermaid did good.
Little Mermaid did good.
It was just controversy around her being black.
Okay. It did well. And I heard it was good. So
it was excellent. Yeah, that was a really good movie.
James, well, speaking of not moving forward in black.
Loving them.
You get them drums. What happened to the African drums you used to play for Dane whenever you came? All right, man, I'm gonna just let Live cook because that was Dane's instructions for us when we got to this part. Let Live cook. So Champ, how you feeling about Wonder Man, Blade, Armor Wars, all the above, Ironheart, Eyes of Wakanda, nothing, just everything getting cooked by the Marvel
conspiracy.
So, this was a bigger conversation off the news of Wonder Man being canceled all of a sudden. And there was a lot of online dialogue about, well, this seems like a trend. If you look at these Black-led or Black character-led projects from Disney or Marvel, they all seem to be set up to either like get canceled or not really do well.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of like they do create new Black characters and give platforms to new Black characters, but it's like, it do seem like there's a different treatment to these projects than the other ones, which are not led by Black characters.
Mm-hmm.
That smells funny.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, the cancellations also seem to be almost devoid of whether the show was successful or not. So for Wonder Man in particular, I think it creates a stink and a stench of like, but everybody liked it.
Mm-hmm.
So why are y'all canceling it so early? Yaya even came out disappointed with his post about it, like as if he was caught off guard.
The director of Wonder Man is also the director of Spider-Man, and again, he's having success, and they're still Usually that's like a recipe, and Yaya's hot right now. He's in everything, and then he got a Mark Wahlberg movie coming out and all that stuff. So
my issue is, I guess I'm in the middle, right? Some of these projects I can understand there being timing being off. Maybe they were planned in a time where they weren't going to be successful, like Armor Wars or whatever. Correct. Maybe there's a different feeling about Don Cheadle because he kind of been like kind of invisible the last few years. Mm-hmm. I can understand there's arguments to be made why something may not be a green light right now. Mm-hmm. But then but I can't help but be upset when you made sure Ant-Man 3 got made, but you can't get Blade made.
Yeah.
You got Ryan Coogler that I knew was pitching them the Blade story for a period piece.
Right.
That they said, no, we're okay. We're good. Yeah. Only for him to turn that into Sinners.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm just very like confused. And I also, it's not missed on me that we live in a socio-political climate that Disney has been, to me, on a far more conservative end in a lot of ways lately.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it makes me question, is there an ulterior motive behind some of this to suppress some of this content?
Coming out of COVID and Black Lives Matter and all that stuff, there was a marketed push from studios to try to have more inclusiveness and diversity.
Sure. Yeah.
And then with the new administration coming in, there was a decisive push to move away from all of that stuff. And you got to remember, Disney was having issues. They brought Bob Iger in, who's more of a traditionalist, make money, more conservative guy. And I think they were kind of on the path where, again, man, they always say the joke, you go woke, you go broke and all that stuff. I think that they are kind of moving away from some of the stuff that was seen as not successful and probably more on the like quote unquote woke side. So, but it's just, like you said, it's difficult when, like, man, if you do Blade right, it ain't woke. You know what I mean?
I don't even think it's a woke thing because, like, I don't see none of these projects as woke. I think the idea that somebody is leading it as a person of color feels like that's the bar to call it woke because Wonder Man ain't have nothing to do with no politics or nothing political.
I was going to say Blade and Wonder Man don't have nothing to do with it, but
Armor Wars could just be as much as like we like Lioness. It could just be about different technologies that
you don't know what the scripts and stuff look like. I think that because of stuff like Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel and all that stuff that was lumped into that, I think that they totally, again, man, I think it gets mislabeled, but I think it gets thrown into it.
And so y'all gonna make me be that guy there, right? Y'all gonna make me be that guy to play devil's advocate. So,
man, because like Blade they tried, man.
Yeah.
Like, it was
can we talk about some of the factual stuff behind the scenes as well, right?
Yeah.
So how some of the stuff
that's relevant
occurs coincidentally. So before Iger left, and it was Bob, the other Bob, Chapek or whatever, how the hell you pronounce his last name. Yeah, trash. During that time, his whole agenda was big records, right? Let's push everything out, anything that comes by me. Let's green light it. Let's roll it out. Let's do it.
And again, just you got to remember the time too, because that was the big. We need content. Disney Plus.
We need content because Disney Plus has started.
Everybody was
I'm getting there.
Our goal is okay.
I'm getting there. So
let you cook.
So they had an agenda to let it cook. They probably did have a let's get more Black people on screen because we were going through COVID and we were being socially progressive. And so then let's even green light more of that as well. You had Kathleen Kennedy involved as well. So you kind of understood where the content was shaping out to be. And then you had two writer strikes?
Yeah.
Between that time. So a lot of stuff got delayed. And the stuff that got released, we were cooking it because we were like, this stuff is trash. Law's favorite saying, who asked for this? Nobody asked for Armor Wars or asked.
Make it good. That's always, if you're going to make.
If you're going to do it, and that's the second one, nobody asked for this. But if you're going to do it, make it good. They were doing it and most of it was trash. Most of it was bad. So a lot of stuff got delayed. And then once the Chapek left and Bob, the OG Bob came back, then he's like, hey, we need to pump the brakes on some of this stuff. Let's stop rolling out and just making any and everything. Let's be more selective, guys. Whoever asked for this film or asked for that film, and I think a lot of the stuff that we're asking about got rolled into that, and it kind of just coincidentally coincided with the fact that a lot of it happens to be Black now. To your point, I agree. I do not disagree, Loft, that Explain Blade away to me then, right? Explain Blade away to me, because you can make Blade. We can assume at the very least Blade, because a lot of people were asking for that. It's been a longer time. You dangled Paul's the OG Blade snipes in front of our face with the whatchamacallit film. So it was like, okay, you can tell people were clamoring for it and okay with, in the same way, if you decide to make a Gambit film, we'd be good with that. Yeah. So I do think there are some exceptions, but by and large, I think a lot of that stuff before there was ever a thought of Wonder Man, who the hell knows who of the casual fan, not the Danes and the Jermaines, who knows what a Wonder Man is, right? A lot of these things were not content that a lot of people wanted. And you all know, I started Ironheart. I didn't particularly enjoy it. And I got a little black girl. She didn't even want to watch it, right? And so I'm saying, like, there was a lot that made sense to me and a lot of things that even came out that had no business coming out, but we were under the regime of a different Bob with a different agenda and a different focus. So it's unfortunate, but I don't know if it's all conspiratorial in a way. I just think some of this stuff got chopped by coincidence.
And it was a lot of behind the scenes, again, just industry stuff with Blade. Like, the script wasn't right and they lost directors, they lost writers, and they had to reset. There was even Mahershala even came out
and said, I didn't like something in it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Focused more on Blade's daughter than him. And he like, man, I'm on the marquee. Like, this should be about Blade, which I agree with. I appreciate him doing that. I don't want to see Blade's daughter. Again, she could be a character in it, but I'm here to see Blade.
I'm definitely, exactly. I'll raise my hand and say, I'm definitely the person that's like, before you spend too much money on something, particularly a beloved character with high expectations like Blade, get it right. Don't, but I think the cancellation just felt like it felt like a very big step backwards because you had tied up Mahershala, and maybe his contract and everything else would expire. Who knows? But it didn't feel like they were still invested in it. It felt like, let's just cancel it. Like, we can't get it right. And I don't buy that that's not something you could just easily get right and have a great movie. I just think the formula is so easy to do.
Yeah.
It might cost you a few bucks, but I think you'll make your money back.
And
I don't know when do y'all think the cutoff is based on what you said, John? Because
what do you mean when the cutoff?
Everything you said was true, but it's like, I don't think we always know when things go into production and when it's like you can't turn back because you already invested. Echo came out in 2023. I think that's a show that wasn't terrible, but like probably part of the formula they don't want to follow anymore.
Right.
Secret Invasion, like it was L after L after L.
Yes, sir.
But that's well into 2023, 24. So it's like, when did they just stop last year to just like say, we're not doing this stuff now, we're going to reset?
When did Bob come back? The OG Bob? Because I felt like when he came back is when he said, we losing too much, we need to pump the brakes.
And there was some leftover stuff that was already complete that they were like, hey, we'll push it out. And I think Ironheart, unfortunately, was part of that because it was done for a while.
Right.
And that's why they didn't promote it. I'm just surprised that with Off the Heat of Sinners and everything, that they didn't at least, try to promote like, hey, Brian.
And that might be the reason why after Sinners did so well, they probably said, oh, damn, we dropped the ball on this. We can't redo it now. He's already, Coogler's already done it.
Said about Blade, do y'all think we going to get another Blade? Because it's not that hard. And how much did the OG Blade cost? You don't have to, like, again, Blade's fighting vampires, like vampire prosthetics and martial arts don't cost a lot. You could
I think the issue now is that you're running up against a reset. So we again had a lot of conversations about what we theorize that's going to look like. I think it makes sense to be like, all right, for whatever is going to be the new timeline and MCU phase, whatever, the Blade just has to fit into that at the best juncture point, because I guess all the talk before was that he was in the 20s. So now you scrap that. It to me feels like they're just going to go and maybe we'll find another actor or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen too. But I think we'll still get it. As long as they get it right, I don't know who that actor is or who it will be. But I also was thinking by the time they got around to it, Mahershala would be starting to age out as well. So I think it was kind of like,
the good news is I think Ghost Rider is going to establish some of that midnight, darker, underworld stuff, and we'll see probably like Werewolf by Night and all of that start to connect, and Blade will obviously enter the chat.
Which surprisingly, like, I'm a horror guy, and surprisingly, like, I don't like to mix my worlds too much. Like, I don't horror outside of Blade, and even Blade, I didn't necessarily read his comics, but he was always great as like a feature. But I'm kind of like, you know,
I don't like have an issue as long as it's sort of looped in with the Doctor Strange stuff. Like it's the mystical stuff. And I think the challenge is vampires. How do you bring them in? But you know.
So because I want to transition there, I got to transition, but I just want to make sure. All right. So we had this debate a couple weeks back, Law. Speaking of transitioning and mixing things together, that was my exact concern. The X-Men, right? We got the new X-Men cast. I still don't have an answer for you. I don't know that I fully understood your position, and I still don't have an answer to James how they're going to go about doing this. But I can obviously see a universe, a singular 626 universe where the X-Men coexist aside the Avengers. I don't know how you would fit vampires in that, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
so we can kind of.
I think it's kind of easy.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, let's talk about it. But that and the new X-Men cast, because the cast itself reveals something about where Marvel is going. They're all young. They're all just out of their teens, right? These are some early 20s cast that they went with. Shocking to us because obviously we had maybe some other alternative people that we would have liked to sing specifically for like Storm. I assume here we'll talk about Rogue. So let's just get into it. Rogue, how did you feel about the Rogue casting, Love?
Or any of the other cast.
Any other others, but I specifically want to hear about Rogue.
So Rogue is one of the castings that I had the most heartburn about because I think, and it's not to discredit Indy Navarrete or whatever. I think she's on her way. Like, she's phenomenal just off Obsession. But that's a relatively small sample size. We've seen people kill a role and then never recapture that same magic everybody thought they had. Rogue is a very distinct character that I think Fox fumbled in the first place. And I think people are looking like very optimistically at Marvel getting this property and doing justice for these characters people love. And they want a true Southern belle with energy and a romantic interest, a bleeding heart, and super strength. Like, that's who they want. Indy Navarrete has not shown us she can do the Southern drawl and carry out the country girl from, wherever she's from, Mississippi, Alabama, or whatever.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest issue. It's like, if she had shown us that she can do that, I don't think people would be as... She really don't look like Rogue either, but, that's not always going to be what you get. You're not going to always get comic accuracy.
Yeah. And I
but
think
she don't embody Rogue, so it's like we're going to have to wait and see.
She got the selection because she's the it girl, and that's it. There's nothing more to it.
But they could have put her in something else. I don't know why.
They could have made her Mystique.
Yeah, like if you want to do business with these people, the money that you can offer them is life-changing considering where they are in their career.
Right.
You don't have to plug them in just because you could get them. Like,
but we've seen the Mystique story, and so they don't want to do the Mystique. This would be the third Mystique story if they made her big.
And I'm not mad at that. I will say this. They do have casting and tryouts, and it seemed like she was going in and doing stuff. And I would hope, like, I can't remember the actress that did it, but there was an actress that basically I didn't expect to be able to do it. But she went through all these different accents and stuff that she could do just, on the strength of Broadway and everything else that they've done. So I'm hoping. She's from Arizona. I don't know what an Arizonian accent is, but it's not Southern.
Yeah, it ain't deep.
I'm hoping that, in their training, like British and Southern accents are something that come up a lot for actors and actresses. So I'm hoping that they put her through. It's the Southern accent's easier than the Creole joint that my guy Channing Tatum was trying to pull off. So I think she's a capable enough actress.
I would imagine that's probably the thing she had to audition with.
Exactly.
She had to prepare, go in there.
My issues is she doesn't necessarily have the look. But maybe that's something that they were willing to.
Here's what I think is good. I think as John established, they're very young. They're like early 20s, mid 20s. Mm-hmm. Your body changes, you grow into, people start getting used to you being that person. But like, I like the idea that we're gonna grow with them, and they're gonna grow with the audience. Not necessarily not realistically, but like when they're 30, that might be X-Men 3. You know what I mean? Right. So we'll feel a lot differently by then, you know. And we don't have a lot of good X-Men other than like some of the classics we really are attached to. So I don't even think the bar is that high to be a great Cyclops, you know, or whatever.
You think she could have been Jubilee?
Nah. Jubilee got to be Asian. She got to.
Okay.
And we saw. It's interesting because we saw the rumors about Beast, but then Beast wasn't introduced.
Yeah.
Right. We saw rumors about all these actors, and they weren't even the pick.
Yeah.
Like Sadie Sink was obviously rumored forever, and then that turned out to be true in Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. But we didn't get any of the Storms right. But who we did get does look the part, and she's a Broadway actress that's a newcomer. So she got a clean slate. She gets to establish Storm in a way that nobody knows what to expect. She don't have no expectation.
Right. But Marvel getting back to basics, and like all these like podcasters and, you know, rumor people, like just because somebody try out, like they get super excited and like this is gonna, because they want to be the person that's right. So they're throwing all these names and everywhere. But I do like that it's back to, if you don't hear from Marvel, don't necessarily believe all the talking heads, because like they were right for a long time, and now it's kind of getting back to like, oh, pump your brakes, Marvel.
We did get Sinister right.
Yeah, we did.
Well, I think
that, but that was very recent though, and even that he was rumored to be Magneto first.
At first,
right?
So that was cool. But then, like the Beast thing is still puzzling because they said we're going with the original team, but Storm is in there, and I think part of that is just my theory that she's going to be in Black Panther maybe first.
Got it.
And so we might as well let the cat out the bag because she's going to be in X-Men too.
Yeah, and I don't think it's all the casting, so we'll probably
maybe. It just seemed like for them to parade them around like that, if there was another actor that was Beast, that just seemed like you leaving them out.
Yeah, but it all depends.
Or maybe because dude quit.
I don't know that they had it. I don't know that maybe they never had him. Maybe that was just all rumor.
Like I said, if he's not going to show up till Secret Wars, or not going to show up until the second, or first X-Men movie or whatever. Like, I think they still want some surprises. Like, you can't just like show all your cards at D23 2 years.
Why not?
Yeah, but that Beast don't feel like the thing you would keep in your pocket as a surprise.
I mean, like Beast, or even like Colossus or whoever. Like, I just think that additional people.
I get that, but I'm saying they've already said we're not doing people like Colossus. We're focused on the original team and said Beast, and we had a rumored casting.
But you're saying I'm saying that a lot of the stuff that's out there, like, unless it comes directly from Marvel, I think is just talk until they actually say it. You know what I mean? Or confirm it, because Marvel.
No, it didn't come from what I'm speaking to now about the people. Yes, that's all hearsay. But the part about the storyline came from the director. He did an interview and said we're focusing on.
But they're also not afraid to just lie to us. And they constantly have before. The one thing that I do know is they're going off of Chris Claremont's stuff. And if that's true, then all these people are still in play. You know what I mean? And I just think that there's more to have, because they still got to promote the X-Men movie. They gave us X-Men, but they still got to get through Doomsday, Secret War, and all that stuff, and it's different promotions. So I think that there's going to be more stuff that comes out, and more casting, and more time for it. I think people just got ahead of themselves.
I'm not going to cite the source because I don't know how reputable it is, but I'm seeing a bunch of hits of Charles Melton has turned down the role of Beast.
Oh, okay. So maybe
perhaps that's why. Maybe he just decided not to, and that's
what I was saying.
That makes a whole lot more sense.
Yeah, now he just couldn't be included because they haven't had enough time.
Right.
The other one that gave me the most heartburn was Professor X. I'm cool with everybody else, but this gentleman, Christopher Abbott, he does not give me Professor X at all. And I
he
know
got hair on his head, so he got a shave.
I mean, I get that. It's not supposed to be. I don't think Professor X has to have a rigid archetype.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what we've been presented. We have not seen large variations in who Professor X can be in the comics or any of the movies. So it's kind of fixed. I don't want to see certain things change because, like, why would you? But, you know, he just don't come across as, he doesn't have that presence to me. He looked like he closer in age to them as well. And I don't think 40. He got to be an old man, but he kind of looks like he could be closer to their age, and that just seems odd to be a professor.
The only thing I don't really remember him in the stuff that he's been in, like Wolfman and all that stuff. I just don't know what he's like, and it's hard for me to picture because what's the guy from the Shyamalan joint that ended up being Professor X in the First Class and everything? I didn't necessarily see him as it. And then he kind of fought shaving his head for a long time, and then he finally shaved his head, and he looked more the part. So
McAvoy,
McAvoy's British, so I think that kind of lends itself to me. He has presence. He just felt like, oh, they're gonna shave his head and like make him a younger Professor X. I totally could see it. It just didn't give me any. It wasn't like any type of resistance to me. This dude, you know. I watched him in a few things, man. He just so regular. Like, he's just a regular dude. And even how he's a very capable actor, also a Broadway dude. I think for them, that's what the clear thread of similarity is.
Yeah.
Everybody they cast has acting chops.
So like if he's broad, again, like Southern accents, British accents, American accents are kind of like, especially if it's just a stock kind of thing, and he can probably pull it off, man. I'm hoping, again, man, like,
of course you are.
I have faith in Marvel with some of the stuff that they have done, but they seem very intentional in it. So it was a lot of big names up for the role. And if these people are auditioning, like, I can't see them being like, this is the dude we want, and he didn't do well in what they are trying to pull off.
If X-Men 97 is any indication of what we should expect, it's going to be a lot of dialogue and talking with this new group of people. And therefore, they got to be able to really act emotionally and pull in the audience.
I didn't follow the controversy, man, but is this safe to say they needed Bo DeMayo back, man?
I think they
That's
did.
What it seemed like. That's what it seemed like.
I think I slept doubly as much.
They added Celestials and this like Gambit mixture of Apocalypse that was like
that was trash.
Rogue got spiritual powers.
What was that? What was this?
I'm like more of a grounded superhero guy, so when it gets too spacey and too celestial, I'll be needing like a Sherpa to guide me through the.
I think the biggest thing that y'all are talking about that stands out to me is just how many different type of teams they tried to filter through so quickly and try to like force feed them per episode. And I feel like the first season was more of like just a more natural progression through a storyline of, you know, sort of a build towards a particular, like, I don't know, like ending episode. This felt like I don't think you have to leave out comics, but it felt like they was trying to jump in one story arc, jump across comics that probably were like 10 issues, and they were trying to get it all in one episode and then pivot to another arc for 10 episodes in the next episode.
Again, hoping. It seems like they're gonna do Doom correctly, but I feel like once again they fumbled on Apocalypse. Like they did all this build up to get to Apocalypse, and then it's just over. Like, all right, we saved Gambit. Apocalypse, yippee! Like,
made him into a nice little ring.
So I was just hoping to get more from the build up. Like they had some anticipation, and this is Apocalypse. We went back in time, we went forward in time, went back and forth, and then they had this final standoff, and it was kind of anticlimactic for me. And then the season's over.
Yeah, what I think I assume that they would use X-Men 97 to reintroduce a new generation to the X-Men the way they're supposed to be done, so that once we get ready to see them on screen, you have some type of associations to pull from now that are more relevant to the characters we expect you to see in the cinema. maybe they were focusing more on that. So they were just decided at this point, let's just throw everything in there so you guys can kind of get some idea of anticipation of who these famous characters are and the villains and so forth. And maybe that's the route they're going. I just wondered if they would have used that as an opportunity to talk about some of the storyline. And then with the Adam Driver casting news, because Sinister is not an X-Men. He's a villain of the X-Men, right? Mm-hmm. And so I wondered if maybe because of how well the first season went and the fact that, hey, who is the villain we haven't seen on screen yet? Oh, I know, Sinister. Then maybe that's the reason why they're going with the casting the way they chose, because now that first season did so well, if people have some anticipation, they can be more excited about the Sinister character and have something to pull from with the X-Men. Now, what they did with the second season, I have no idea now. Because it got
Didn't
lost.
They say Bo DeMayo had done like a lot of season
few episodes?
Yeah. So I wonder if some of the issue was that they were trying to like pull from that and then finish something they didn't start.
Anytime you lose a writer or a showrunner and somebody else comes in, they come in with like a different vision, but you got to close out these story arcs and this and that. And it always not always, but most of the time it ends up being a mess.
It doesn't work well. But what about, I'm curious, what about his story arc did they not like that they couldn't just complete it with their own?
Probably just because he did it.
I learned recently, saw a really educational video and it talked about why stuff can be and it was all in response to Children of Blood and Bone. It was saying that this is what really happens for a project. And they broke down the stages of the initial draft being greenlit, and how that draft goes through so much to the point of the movie being finished. Mm-hmm. And that writers get brought in and that things change, and then the budget dictates additional changes. So by the time the movie gets made, it may not look as close to what was initially pitched and greenlit.
Yeah.
I would imagine the animation process is somewhat similar, that Bo DeMayo exits and now they're paying writers to do stuff and his stuff is not there anymore. He's gone. So that it could go wherever those writers take it. And
but do they own his script though? That's what I mean. Like, if they own the script, who cares? Let's just
but then
I see what your point. If your point is, well, what did he turn in? I don't know that was finished. You know what I'm saying? When he got, because I don't think he expected to get fired or whatever.
Weird, like creatives, like kind of like Love said, directors, other writers. I don't know if they got to justify their existence. Showrunners, like I rarely see where they pick up, like even with Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon and all that. Like whenever they come in and pick up, they always got to change something. And I don't know if that's ego. I don't know if that's to justify their existence in, the new position, but it always seems to divert, pretty, not necessarily drastically, but pretty significantly from what the original, script or concept.
That's why I'm wondering though, but why so much? Like X-Force and X-Factor? That's why I'm asking the question, was that intentional because they want to make some references to them in the upcoming reboot?
I don't think we'll know. There's no way for us to know, but I think your point is just really what the issue is that I think we're all having. I'll even add in, there was an episode with Wolverine, right? And they just introduced the Brood, them alien xenomorph type joints from the comics. That was so extra and like so abbreviated. They didn't have to do that. You really could have just skipped to him fighting Omega Red or whatever. Like, that could have been the big part of that episode. But they decided, no, let's throw them in there.
Yeah, and I really think he had like a season 1 through 3 arc, and they probably was like, this stuff is good, but let's just get it out the way. So he planned to get to X-Force and build up to some of this stuff over 2 seasons, and then they were just like, let's just get rid of this stuff. This is kind of cool. The Brood, he had an episode or 2 with that. Let's throw that in, and then all right, let's get to season 3, and then we'll see season 3, which will really be their vision. You know what I mean? Like what they plan to do, which apparently is have Mystique do full Lioness undercover work and infiltrate the government.
Was that your transition to Lioness for?
I had to throw it in there, man. Hey, and we're going to talk about Lioness. If not today, definitely next episode, because Jonathan is like,
I'm looking at the chops, boy.
He might try to start the male Lioness program where he's pulling it up to like female CEOs and women in power so he could go undercover or at least audition for QRF, because we've been messing with him. He has watched the episodes like 5 times each and is like breaking down little things in the background and everything else. He went.
All right. So thanks for that transition, James. So Lioness season 3.
Let's do it.
Clearly, I'm not the only one enjoying Lioness as much as I am, but what are you guys' thoughts so far with this season and how they're going in the right direction? And I do have a theory. I feel like I know what's going on. If you don't want to hear it, because I think I'm going to spoil it for everybody, then let me know.
Well, put it, because we're going to clip it up and we're going to put out your theory and see if it gets some traction, especially if it's correct.
I'm a big fan of Taylor Sheridan's shows, largely because he doesn't withhold action. He doesn't treat it like the audience has to earn it as a reward.
Mm-hmm.
He does it as much as he can and as often as he can, because I think he understands, like us, that's good television. And if he can afford people shooting blanks on a set and showing squibs blow out their chest, I'm going to do it if I can afford it. Like, why would I make my show boring?
But what I like about Taylor Sheridan too, and even with some of his stuff that isn't necessarily like, like Tulsa King and all that stuff, he doesn't sacrifice one for the other. Like, he gives you good dialogue with characters in moments that are just straight dialogue where some of the political people are going back and forth, and he gives you the action. So it's like, I like how
I'm the highest ranking officer in any room I'm in.
Right.
Yeah. She had like stuff like that he writes is so dope. Like,
and that scene in the when he went to the Russian delegate, I can't remember the character's name or the actor. Byron. Yeah. Like those back and forths, and even like Nicole Kidman talking to her husband about the geopolitical impact of some of the things that
I like that too. That's not boring, like,
no.
But it's also super informed and relevant. Like a lot of the stuff they mix is almost like it's going on in our current world, which adds another layer to it. But I like that he gets great performances out of his people as well. And Zoe Saldana does a great job playing Joe. And for this season to start with her sort of, I guess, immediately in the fire, I think pulls you in. Like, you're like invested in this character, and now she's dealing with something that's kind of wild, like a kidnapping of a special operative of the highest caliber. Is like, who? So you're immediately like, who is doing this?
Right.
Like, how did she get burned? Because they do it at her home.
Yeah.
And then, like, it's not, I don't even know what the word is, but it's not gentle.
Right.
And it's really, they push this character into a place of like, you're seeing her get stripped down. These are the things I think would happen that normally, let's just use Reacher, for instance. They're not going to do that.
They're not going to show that.
They're not going to show that.
They're not going to show that.
And so,
for those that, I'm for Reacher, but that joint ain't realistic.
Schwarzenegger
ripping phone booth.
Hey, no, that's realistic. Anything Schwarzenegger did back in the guy was real.
I can't wait till somebody pulls off a Reacher parody, because it's gonna make me laugh, man.
What I like about Reacher, and then we'll get back to Lioness, is that when I was a kid, like, muscles was like, all right, if you got muscles and you strong, you
could do anything.
Reacher be doing, like, I don't care if you tranquilize me, I'm Reacher. I'm a still you up back in there.
Yeah.
But back to Joe, and I do like how they showed that vulnerability, and I like when they don't necessarily, like, they've moved around from what the political threats are or the threats that we have. Iraq, and then we kind of had a little bit of China. Now this is Russia, and it could get into China too, because these are Russians and they are doing things different. I like how
Mexican cartels
off where
cartels,
and where they're like, hey, we don't know. We know that she was involved in this. She was here. Let's go see how she's involved, and they found out. But man, Joe and them got to move, man. She got twice. Like, dang, man.
So a few things.
6 months or whatever, because it was 6 months. The first one happened, and then 6 months later, like, come on, man. They got to relocate her.
Yeah, a few things. With Taylor Sheridan starting there, what you all said, he is not afraid to shy away from things that are at some point became politically unacceptable. So if y'all think about the second Top Gun film, there was no real villain. They made up this, you know, and that's not what I'm accustomed to. Even with like our video games, you think about it, the original Call of Duties all had real factions that America would have gone to war with, and they had no problem putting that in the video game. Battlefield the same way, the video game. Then they got away from that. It was like they make up these factions as if like Instagram, you're worried about getting canceled because people feel uncomfortable with you depicting a certain country in a certain way. And I'm like, bruh, stop. This is the world we truly live in. And Taylor Sheridan has
but you do want to make money in those countries if you can.
If you can, yeah.
In China, probably not so much, but even for movies, they do make money.
But I think where Taylor does well in the same way where we talked about the agency is he doesn't depict them other countries like flukes and
he don't make them idiots just because they're the enemy, right?
They're cold, right? They just as smart and savvy as we are in their own way, and they do go about it in a certain way that I think whoever is informing him, you know, whatever former CIA and FBI and special ops operatives who are informing him about, you know, how things really work in a geopolitical world, like they're doing a great job. The special forces teams that come do Navy SEAL, Delta Force training, breaching exercises with them, they're doing, and you can tell Taylor Sheridan loves that stuff.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Putting himself into it, right?
Yeah. Like, you can tell he has affinity for like the Midwest and that cowboy lifestyle and the military, because he'll pop up in Yellowstone and all that, and he'll pop up in the Lioness type. Hey, he was shredded too. Like, I don't know if he got the nice.
Well, did y'all? I don't know if I'm breaking this news to y'all, but he also parlayed the money that he's made to do these shows and the training into actual training facilities.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So because I guess he was doing these shows like Lioness and stuff and doing like so much arms training, he basically invested into a training facility that not only will his actors go through it, but other teams who really can do this go use his stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know, he did the same thing for like a ranch too. So money that he's and actually like so. Yeah. Hey, but that's what I would do if I was in his shoes. He's getting these $1 billion deals. Why not do things that you like? And then also,
Issa Rae's doing the same thing. Issa's doing it on a different scale, but it is a very smart way of, like, basically you're paying yourself to do what you was doing anyway.
Do we even have to guess that Jonathan will have his own training /CIA?
They would not be shooting though. You walk around there with a gun on your hip. You never pull it out. You creep. It's all clandestine. You never shoot. You might put people in a choke and knock them out, but you're not going to fire that weapon. Keep it holstered and sneak.
Hey, you know what's so funny? That's making me think of how the opening scene, or not the opening scene, but when they go to Ukraine, when Joe and her team go to Ukraine and you see those UAVs, and you just realize it, because we've seen that now, right? And CNN has reported that news, every major news outlet.
Was awesome,
seen these drones. It's like, wait a minute, everything we've seen in Call of Duty actually exists. Like, this is how they really fight in wars. It's like mind-boggling. And so to kind of see, because it was so chaotic, and you got 2 different or 3 different factions flying drones all at the same time,
and I really love the dialogue going where they were back and forth, and like. You know, Taylor Sheridan and his team was like, nah, man, y'all are mercenaries or whatever. And they like, no, we go where she goes. And it was like that whole little
it's weird because it's like Joe is just, she's the leader, and she's the, you know, the highest ranking officer and everything. So it's weird saying this, but I also think Taylor Sheridan and what you're talking about, James, leans back into the hyper masculinity of shows like we used to watch like this. The banter between the different teams is almost like, we're going to kill everything in there. And it's almost like there just becomes so much sensitivity around stuff. Like we don't even get to watch stuff like that no more, where I guess it's kind of viewed as like being toxic, you know, but it's like, no, that's what I want to watch.
Meantime, just like we had with Ripley back in the day, nobody's complaining about Zoe Saldana as Joe because it's authentic to the character, and she does, like, people are like, she a badass, her team's a badass, we like it. You know what I mean?
She's also not over the top, right? So remember the prior season, she got into it with Kyle. That's Navy SEAL Barbie, right?
Yeah.
After the end of the Mexico, she was pissed off at him, and he was like, "Go ahead, you get your one punch." And she hit him, and then he took her ass down, and it was like, "Yeah, that's what we're having. He trained too. You know what the heck he doing?" You know what I mean? Like, they are not shying away from like reality.
She be having black eyes. I mean, they do live through a lot of like bullet wounds and stuff, but like they don't make it where it's just like you see everybody shooting at them in a hallway and nobody gets shot.
But
very often their team is getting stabbed, shot, black eyes, all those things.
Yeah, it was cool to see the dogs. Just little stuff in the background, like they've got like energy drinks and like workout and like protein bars and like all that little stuff, like the way that they sleep, like, all right, wake up, let's go, it's time. Like, this is
you know what else is I don't know if y'all like it or not, but I thought it was I guess an unspoken departure. Lioness was so much about the Lioness program. Now this was a unique way to pull them away from that, to say, hey, we dealing with Joe's issue, which don't really like require us to stay like repeating. Oh, we got to bring in a new female.
Okay,
and then we got to find a new mark.
And so here's my theory. Here's my theory. So perfect.
Okay, Jonathan probably washed ahead, but I wouldn't be surprised. You know, we're gonna see some of that with her. Maybe
I haven't watched ahead yet. I haven't watched today's episode.
And you know, but okay. So is Joe breaking? What's your theory?
No. So Taylor Sheridan has been consistent with one thing, and Loft just put it out there: the program. In each season so far, they've recruited somebody to be that Lioness agent, right? To go deep cover, to expose something.
They gonna send the chick?
No, Joe is the agent. That's the answer. That's the only logical reason why she and her family would go back to that house. And the only people that know is Joe's handler, Caitlin, probably Byron, the whole executive, when the skiff crew, you know what I mean?
And that's kind of what I was saying.
We're Morgan and them and Joe. And we're probably going to see a flashback where Joe and Caitlin are having a conversation, and Joe is like, send me back home. Let's figure out how deep this Russian cell is. We gotta let me get captured. And she's probably like, you sure you want to put your family through this? And Joe's like, I would ask any of my teammates to go do this. I can't ask something to them that I'm not willing to do myself. So she put herself and her family at risk, which is why at the end of this season, if her husband does not leave her, he's a damn fool, because there's no way he will let this. After what I said, and I know that's the question that everybody would have. Like, no, there's no way, because her kids, her daughters. You're absolutely right. But that is the only thing that makes it. There's no reasonable 6-month period for her to go back.
But that's kind of along the lines as I was thinking, like, even if, like, but I didn't think about it as deeply as you did. That actually makes a lot more sense than, again, because part of the Lioness was them getting captured, interrogated, all that stuff. Correct. So we are going to see that through Joe. So it's even deeper if she is the Lioness that is.
And Taylor Sheridan is so smart in his writing, if I'm correct, and he's doing it that way because
it'd be pretty dope.
We forgot that part of it, right? To Law's point, we're waiting to see them recruit somebody to go deep sail. But I think it is Joe. And I think she knew she was going to give up on where her tracker was. Part of it that I don't think her team knows, because they drove up, and what I'm hoping to see is her team ask, why when we showed up, y'all didn't send more units? Where was the drone and everything else?
We should none be on top
of Joe.
I feel like you had a idea, and now you are trying to make everything lead towards it, but you're ignoring all the other evidence that suggests. This is like military, right? Mm-hmm. So you forget they had to debrief up to Morgan Freeman, who I think is he the Secretary of Defense?
Secretary of Defense, probably. Mm-hmm.
You can't lie. You can't lie to him. Like, if you're going to do something if it's a mission, right, then he would have to know.
I think he does. Yeah, I don't think that decision was made yet in the episodes we've seen so far. The second episode was a flashback.
Okay, so
when she got.
I think I understand what you're holding out for is that something is that requires her to go back home for the second kidnapping.
Yeah, correct.
Okay,
correct.
We'll
Not
see.
the first thing. The first thing put everything into motion when when Joe shot and killed her too.
I do want to.
I think my second issue with it, where I would push back, is that the way she gets caught, her family was in severe jeopardy. I just can't see her doing that. I could see her doing it for herself, going out, being a lioness or whatever. I can't see her bringing it home and her family being home and all that.
I agree. It had to be authentic, though. And that's why I said once her husband finds out what Joe did, he's got to leave her. I think that
he need to leave her before that.
Yeah, he should have been out.
He should have been left her. Because she don't need no family, man.
Right.
He need to go. Yeah, he need to leave her. She need to start her own little military life.
Might not have known when they were going to do the snatch and grab or where. So it just might have ended up too close for comfort in the driveway that second time.
It had to be authentic. If the Russians aren't stupid. So if Joe moved back in the house by herself, they would be like, wait a minute, why did she move back in this house by herself?
Like, for Joe and the team, they don't know, like, all right, yeah, they came to the house once, but are they going to do it on this street again? And why it could have been another place. They knew that the Russians were probably going to take her. You didn't know it was going to be that close in proximity to the family again. It's always a risk, but I don't know. I like the theory though, man.
Tell me about a theory you would have at this point in the game.
I don't really have no, man. I'll be along for the ride. What I do enjoy is like not just how it does military stuff, but it does like investigations, counter surveillance, all that stuff. It was so dope how they figured it out.
Her team, how they knew they were like somebody got to be here.
We're all visible. We're out in the open. And then they look, they see the spotter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he was like, go without me.
Yep.
It's interesting to me how depending on the show and who they want to be the focal point, how they will disparage other law enforcement, right? So you'll see shows where the police officers and the detectives is the key of the show. And so sort of like the CIA agents that show up are idiots. But if it's a CIA show, they show these Barney Fife cops, they don't know what they're doing. So you see in this one where they made the FBI look like idiots. They were like, did y'all clear the back? They was like, what?
They went to the front.
Yeah, so... Yeah. But even that, like James was saying, the fact that now they start going through their process, they actually see through night vision, they got spotters on the roof at a house down the street. Let's go get them. Like, I love all that stuff because it's not going to end in. Taylor Sheridan just rarely lets that end in someone getting knocked out with a punch and getting locked up. And next thing you know, they in the interrogation room. It's going to be. Even that, somebody getting shot.
The dude walked up, and I love to see like the different factions of the same teams play ball against each other. Because the dude walked up, he's like, whatever his dog name was, Ruffy, where you at? And he's like pretending, and then what's my guy's name, man? Black dude,
Kench.
I bet. What is it?
LaMonica Garrett.
LaMonica Garrett, yeah, that's my guy, man. Like, I love the scenes that he's in. Even when the one that they were like, we're going to lock that door. They were like, we're going to open that door one way or another.
Yeah. You ain't going to like the way I'm going to open it up.
It would be nice and sort of if I think I've heard that Lioness essentially gets renewed one season at a time. But it would be nice to hear more about his backstory. I think he's that good of a character to me that they could expose some layers to his life as well. Like I think that would add more to the show too.
And he did a one-off film just before, and it confused me because he's a Navy SEAL, but it's not connected. It's not. He's not the same character apparently. I haven't watched it, but
okay,
it got bad reviews.
It was on my list, and I saw the bad reviews. And I just
what was it called?
It was like Man of War or something like that.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I seen him in something else where he was with it was an alien killing movie, and he was part of the SEAL team or whatever.
Osiris?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was pretty bad. But he played the same dude. Like,
he's very typecast.
Yeah. I'm good for it, man. Like, some people, like, remember we used to always had him, like, actors that you knew what you was getting when they showed up in action movies. Like, my guy.
Yeah.
So
but all in all, man, this season has been very much enjoyable, especially contrasting with this X-Men that was putting me to sleep, man. I don't care what time I turn X-Men on.
The funny thing is, I guarantee Dane gonna get on here and be like, I was so bored with Lioness. Like, be liking this military stuff. He like, we ain't getting enough of Joe and her husband. Like,
right.
Like, what do they feel? And like, literally, and he's gonna be like, X-Men was great. This is some BS. You and this military. I love when the cousins go back and forth. So that's gonna be funny when Dane come back and tell you the exact opposite.
Right.
Well, y'all be married to Joe or a Joe-like figure, and you're just a regular square?
No chance.
Nah, I mean that's a good question though. Let's say she is a baddie, super smart, like making very good money. Probably don't make too much though. You know what I mean? Like people like that for some reason, they still limited in what they might make. So
government worker.
Yeah. So she but again, he seems great. They got a family together. I think that's where I probably would have had the most reservation is about having kids with somebody like that.
Right.
And if you remove the kids part of it, I think it's more realistic to find yourself sacrificing what comes with that. But I think for a man in particular, I don't know, man, just those long stretches of service, not knowing what's going on. Then she in a male dominated situation. I think my insecurities and stuff probably just be messing with me. I don't think I could do it.
Also, there's a part of it for me, man, maybe Jonathan wife go through it too, but I feel like when you're doing this for a living and like you understand how people's mind works and your whole life is lying, I almost feel like it's difficult to have that trust in the marriage. Like she lies for a living. Like if she come home, her manipulating me is easy. You know what I mean? She knows my buttons. She, again, I'm like the ultimate mark because we've spent so much time together. She knows how I tick, just like you know how your spouse is, but she's able to manipulate you and get you to kind of do what she wants.
Unless you create a rule early on where I cannot and will not ever disclose work. So don't even ask.
I think it is.
If that's the rule that you do have, then you do not necessarily have to lie.
Well, I don't even mean about that. I just mean
No, I know what you're saying. I'm just saying. So you could, I think you can compartmentalize in a way where my family, we doing family stuff. As long as we don't talk about work, like be real with me. But I see what you're saying. You're saying when someone's capable of that, you might always question. Because they're going to use the superpowers when it's convenient. They ain't going to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, even from season 1, because I went back and watched some of that, it's like, she just be, playing him like a fiddle.
So that's a better question. Would y'all use your CIA tradecraft to get things out of your wife?
Hey, listen. It ain't no amount of tradecraft on this earth. Especially not with a black wife. It ain't make no difference, man. Her 6, 7,
her sister intuition.
It's her intuition. It don't make no difference.
The sisters would cook. The spycraft ain't working.
That's why Joe's so good. Playing my man like a fiddle, man. Yeah.
It's funny because they do make him look like a simp. Like he be just crying. He be going through it, man. What's his name? Nicole Kidman told him, shut up. Right. The F up. Grit her teeth. Right. He was like, all right.
I'm going to be quiet.
Get in the car and take them kids somewhere.
Yeah. Hey, we were joking, like even with agency and all this stuff, like that's a running theme. There's at least 1 or 2 simps in every one of these like CIA spy thriller type shows.
Yeah. Man, I would be curious how you think Joe will react to him cheating.
I think she compartmentalized. I think she would expect it. Yeah.
I think she would visit Shorty or get on that. Get on one of her phones that's untraceable. Give her a call.
He might. But I don't think she would give him a hard time for it because I think she would understand.
Yeah.
You think it ain't happening?
But I actually don't want that for their family. Like I actually like that their marriage is strong. I know that it's falling apart because of her job, but it's not because of things like that. So I actually like that part.
Nah, Neil in love, man. He absolutely got his nose wide open, man. She got a nice ass, and you got your all the way up in it. That's my terrible. What's my man from Al Pacino? When does that come out? By the way, the reboot, is that next year?
Heat too.
Yeah, Heat. Yeah.
I don't know.
I think next year. I think they just trying to lock. I mean, the last I heard was them locking the cast in and all that.
Yeah,
so.
I don't think they started filming yet.
Yeah.
So it's in that pre-production phase. It looks good though.
Speaking of nice asses, is that really her body or is that a body double when she in the shower? I feel like that's a body double because you don't see her face. Yeah.
Which I ain't mad at. Again, Taylor Sheridan goes back to the basics. He man, you a little noodle, just a little something.
I got tired of seeing penises on the screen for the last 5 or 6 years, man. It's like we're gonna show men's butts and penises on screen, especially Game of Thrones. They like showing you.
Segue into House of the Dragon, man.
Speaking of penises and nudity, House of Dragon.
Yo, HBO is notorious for showing male genitalia.
Yeah, they would. Yeah. I told you I went and rewatched The Wire, season 2 of The Wire. My boy, man, he just whipped this joint out any chance he got.
Y'all remember?
Yeah, equal opportunity frontal.
All right, man. I want to hear you because, again, we've been talking about it, but you have finally just watched Game of Thrones, and now you've caught up with House of the Dragon. You haven't got to Seven Kingdoms yet, though, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So what are your thoughts? Because, again, you got the benefit of binging it and seeing how everything happened and not having that gap in between.
Yeah. The first one, Lord of the Rings, makes all the ancillary characters important and interesting and intriguing. And they could have had 30 characters. They might have had more on screen at any one time.
Oh, you mean Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones.
Okay. You said Lord of the Rings. I thought you were going to do
I'm coming there. I'm coming there.
Oh, you are.
Game of Thrones.
Okay.
I'm coming there. And I was always interested in what was happening with any character on the screen. Like I fell in love with some of the more ancillary characters in Game of Thrones because it was interesting. No matter who was on screen, everyone was positioning for something, even if they weren't going to be able to themselves to be the king, sit on the Iron Throne, or even their family by extension. They still were all manipulating and positioning for some reason or another. House of Dragon seemingly lost that a little bit, right? I'm enjoying it. I'm anticipating it every week. It is still a fun watch. The CGI for dragons was a lot better. The story I'm unfamiliar with because I hadn't read the book, but they're only making me focus on and interested. They're only making certain characters really relevant and expanding on how dynamic those individuals are. And then all these ancillary characters, they just sort of put on screen here today, gone tomorrow. And I'm just like, well, wait a minute. I want to know, the chick with the bow and arrow, where does she come from? She seemed pretty dope. Why are we
people that are into the books
backstory?
been having that same criticism because they know who the people are, but they're like, you ain't even giving them no screen time.
Right.
The guy that was with her, the guy that's sort of leading the army, that's walking around with the axe, man, this dude kind of,
if Body to Ruin and Alison Blackwood, again, the book was written, and again, it's two different stories. Game of Thrones was about that political. This is really just about the Targaryen legacy and how absolute power corrupts absolutely. The fact that they had the dragons and all the incest, and then the infighting. Really, the Targaryens still would be ruling the realm if they didn't kill each other. It's so that's kind of what this is about. But it still got into some of these additional characters. We got to see the Winter Wolves. For me, that was such a dope story. Because again, we're partial to Winterfell and Jon Snow and everybody that came from there. But it's pretty cool to see the winter is so harsh and rough out there that they're look, we warriors, we'll go off the war just so y'all got more food to eat and we'll die nobly in the trenches. You know what I mean? And then those battles, it mattered more when he went up against the High Towers. It meant more when Daemon went against Sir John. what's his name, man?
Your boy that fight real good. That got shot with the arrows.
With the bow, with the hair.
Sir Kristen Cole.
So John Rustin.
No. Dude with the bowl cut. The big dude with the bowl cut.
Sir John Rustin. He was in the book, and like he's got a Valerian steel sword too. When they went against each other, like you read about, because again, it's written as a written history from different perspectives, just pulled from tales, but you heard these tales about him and how lethal he was. So when him and Damon clash, it mattered. Where in this, we know a lot about Damon, but we kind of like, who's this dude and why is he, actually standing?
But they almost make them appear significant. So it's almost like, you get breadcrumbs, but they don't give you the context and the backstory. The only thing I would say is I actually feel like it might be a trade-off, because even though I would value that, I feel like, man, House of the Dragon got way more action. And it's way more dragon fighting, whereas Game of Thrones had way more dialogue and time to do that, but far less fighting and far less dragon. Yeah, so it's like, I kind of wonder if they just made a decision there.
And it's that balance that we were talking about, that somehow Taylor Sheridan hits the sweet spot between the dialogue that builds up to the action, that makes the action matter, and then not having action or having...
But someone on Instagram did say, he said, I actually feel like instead of showing us Harrenhal 17 times, you could have actually just had them sitting around a fire and the Winter Wolves just explain that, and then we understand it. Yeah. And, like you could have these conversations that don't take a whole lot. And I agree with that.
Interesting, because we were talking about the difficulties we have when you have different writers and they go through the script and everything. Like the author of Game of Thrones and the writers of House of Dragons kind of like clashed. He didn't really like them chopping up his story. So it almost was like the Harrenhal stuff, it was some of that in there, but what's her name? Not Alison Blackwood. What's the witch lady that's
the Barn Owl witch?
That storyline was brand new. So it's almost like they wanted to focus on that because it's their baby, and not necessarily focus on some of the things that he did. Because again, just like we said, when new writers come in, they are more focused on their ideas. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it serves one purpose.
Yeah.
It helps you see that Aemon is like going through something. That's the only purpose it really serves, in my opinion. And I think it could lead to them having a child or something, but my thing is they spend too much time going back there and nothing significant happens from it.
For the nerds, it matters because like Harrenhal has always been like labeled as haunted and scary and everything else.
But they not even doing much of that. But so the nerds been criticizing it from what I've been seeing.
That she was Black Heron's wife and has been alive for all these years, and there when the aunt and everything took over, and that's why she has the dragon eggs. Again, I think for them, they thought that was like, we'll get the nerds with this because we have this big reveal, but that none of that was in the original text. So I think that they were like, we're gonna focus on what we wrote.
But see, it didn't even matter, because if you're not a nerd and you're not familiar with it, it didn't resonate to me watching it, right? And it's coming off the backs of just a month or two ago finishing Game of Thrones. The connection didn't necessarily click because it is so expansive and so much.
It is? You ever see, like, it's like that Dave Chappelle skit with the oops pal surprise? Like, you ever see a dude freestyle and he is like, that was it? Y'all don't know these lyrics that I just said? And everybody else is like, nah, that's what these writers is doing. They like, y'all gonna love this. And then it's like, that's it, man.
What's been cool about this story is that as someone who's not familiar with the book, the show is what is sort of what I'm watching to see the story unfold. And I didn't realize early on that this was going to be a show of how power can corrupt somebody. And so seeing Rhaenyra go through this whole, sort of like journey of just being like this girl who put in this weird position by her father. I mean, he really created all of this. Like he's, and I don't even know if it's his fault, but I think his lack of accepting this is how the world is, going back to probably something John would understand about The Wire. The game is the game, man. you can't break it by trying to do the noble thing. Right. The game is corrupt and it's a nasty political game. So I like that part of Game of Thrones and then now House of the Dragon, but I didn't anticipate Rhaenyra being
turned into the villain.
I feel like they are trying to make up for what they failed to do in Game of Thrones at the end of the last season of Game of Thrones, right? Yeah. Show that corruption because they tried to speed through it so fast. Yeah. So it's like, I'm going to show it to you now. Right. And take my time with it, but but we've seen the storyline already. I don't need to see it again.
The story, but it's one of those things, and I think that's what ultimately George R.R. Martin was going to eventually get to, and God, I hope he actually finishes the book. Is there's just something in the Targaryen bloodline that always ends up crazy. You know what I mean? And Rhaenyra, like even in Game of Thrones, they would describe her as Rhaenyra the Cruel. Mm-hmm. He didn't see that until now. And sometimes that's how history depicts, but I think that's ultimately what was going to happen with Daenerys is like, hey, history repeats itself. Her father was the Mad King. This happened with Rhaenyra. They get these dragons, things happen. And then there's like this sense of self-importance with them because they're dragon riders, because they feel like, oh, I'm the person that's going to save the world from the White Walker. You've noticed throughout history, they all think that they're the ones that interpret.
I was about to ask, am I getting that right? That Rhaenyra thinks she is Daenerys? Like she thinks that the prophecy is about her.
That's what she said. I'm a prince. She said, I'm the prince that they,
Like she thinks that the vision is her. And and again, Daenerys, it was about her, but again, she's putting herself in, and ultimately she, was a part of this saving the world. But like,
what was I also was curious about. So you need 100% Targaryen pure blood to not be burned, because a lot of these Targaryens been getting burnt up. So I was like, hold up, why was Dany special?
I always interpret it like just like some of them are like seers. Like it skips generations or whatever. So like, and then Dragonfire is a little different. So I think Dany just had, and that's why she was the unburnt, the queen. Like that's why it mattered that she wasn't burnt up. So I just think it's different. Like you get almost different superpowers through the lineage of Targaryens. Like all of them don't have everything.
I was reading about that, and that was one of the explanations was just that that at the very least you got to have 100% blood. You can't be mixed or whatever. But yeah, man, I have had a hard time, just like House of the Dragon, reminding myself of who's because the amount of incest in this show is insane. It is, man. And because I have such a heart, that is not our thing. That is not Black people thing. Yeah. So even with watching the Valerians doing that, it's like Adam and Baddie Baylor, man. It just seemed weird to me, and it's like, why y'all trying to pull us into that?
But in the book, like, but it's weird that the characters are now Black because it's like, we don't do that. We don't do that. I didn't like. It seemed kind of forced how they got. Speaking of the Valerians, they got the sea snake back like that. Like, how did he expect that plan to work? The other younger Hightower that was like, hey, she can roll this, and I can roll.
I call him G. Wayne.
Yeah.
Gwen. G. Wayne. I mean, I think the reason why I accept it is because I have long compared this to The Wire. Yeah. Like weakness, fear, like a lot of them things do not play well in these universes. And the fact that G. Wayne is so scared to die, he'll fight and he'll go to war. But if he know he can leave without dying or create peace, he for it. Like he not trying to just like, he don't care about honor and dying in the battlefield.
It just seemed like he's had better plans. Like he was just by himself. Like, and Daemon, a wild card, like, I'm gonna burn you and just take him.
I think that's the difference. I don't think he knew who he was talking to.
Okay.
But because he was talking to Daemon, he didn't get, like anybody else, I feel like, if he was talking to Corlys, it would have worked.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Corlys is on that type of time. And Corlys is like, I've been in enough battles to know peace is the best place to be in.
What y'all think about Oath? And I guess this is, I don't know.
That was so forced, man.
Little baby Thor.
I will say that that's what happens.
The Oath is the drunkie.
And
he stayed at the club. He stayed at the club.
They both in the book portrayed Rhaenyra in the battle. So
don't spoil it for other people because other dude, Baby Thor ain't there yet.
Well, and I don't know if he'll ever get there. That's what I was going to ask.
What happened to his wife? I think
maybe his wife, but like I don't think that's the fault of Rhaenyra. That's more Ulf. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that puts him more on the side of Team Black and pushes him away from Team Green or what. But I thought that was an interesting change. I just like that Ulf is like true to character. Like, man, let me hang in my brothels. Give me my beer. Give me a few.
Give me bottle service. Let me go stunt.
Give me
my back in the strip club.
I thought from a writing standpoint, it was interesting that everyone was, because that one took me off guard because the dragon tamers were like, we want no parts of this because these people are honorable and we're, they don't deserve this, so we're leaving. Yeah. Of course, as a viewer, my perception was, oh, they're treating them just like, people treated Black people. They're not smart enough to do certain things. So we don't want to give them the opportunity. So we don't want any parts of this. They can't come to our school building, right? Like I saw it that way at first, but then how they flipped it, it was like, oh, that's why they want to have nothing to do with these people because they aren't honorable and they aren't like saying we live and die by this. Mm-hmm. But part of that too, they didn't grow up with it. They were detached.
Yeah, they just common folk. So it's hard to like teach them all the like ways of ways of nobility and like how you're supposed to do things. They don't know it.
We're seeing just how having that type of power and the ability to be a dragon rider will corrupt you. It is, a lot more easy if you don't have that nobility. Where some of the Targaryens wore it better than the current regime that we're seeing now, and even the people that are like half breeds.
What's up with the the Corliss girl, the daughter that's like kind of throw and she riding the sheep stealer or whatever?
Oh, the crackhead one?
Yeah, what's
with the YN dragon. Y'all seen the memes with sheep stealer with the shiesty on?
It's like
the Nike shiesty
on. What's her deal, man? Like, is that character consistent with the story?
She wanted a dragon so bad. She took one that was just off the hook and wild, can't be tamed. And then that joint just ended up with Jace dying by accident. She ain't really, but I guess my part with that whole thing wasn't what happened. It was more so how she couldn't reconcile it. Why was she just immediately placed in this position of, you killed my son, you're going to die? Like, they would know. I don't know. It just felt like she's so close to the family. Like, that's Daemon's daughter. Right, I would have went to my dad. I would have went right to my dad and said, the dragon got to die or something. Like, he did it. Like, it wasn't me. Because that's the truth.
But I think kind of like what Daemon said, because he didn't get a dragon initially, and like that means a lot. And I feel like she didn't want to give up the dragon. Like if she'd have went to her dad, she would have had to give up Sheep Stealer. And she like, even though everything had went, like again, having the power of these dragons means so much. And once you have it, no matter how much chaos it causes and how many people die, you are unwilling, even in the end, to give it up. And Jonathan, to your question, they changed it. She was not the rider of Sheep Stealer in the book. Mm-hmm. It was another like common folk girl called Nettles. So like a lot of the people are upset about that because she was a pretty dope character as well. And she actually rode Sheep Stealer in a more noble way than even some of the royal blood did. So it kind of changed that and, went in this direction. But I love the memes and stuff that is talking about like her wig and like, oh man, her hair all burnt up, man. They got to get her back in there. So they be putting like all types of little weaves and wigs and silky perms.
Man, I don't know if I guess you could call it Black Twitter, but it ain't Black Twitter no more. But the way people have taken over the reactions to House of the Dragon is just so funny, man.
It's so many of them jokes.
I never want to get away from the internet for those type of that type of comedy is just I need it.
I think that's one thing that I still applaud HBO for doing is doing weekly drops, like having the security in shows that we know we can do it weekly and we're not going to lose the audience and y'all going to be clamoring for the next one. we build in a lot of suspense and put you on cliffhangers that you're like, damn, I can't wait till next week. What you think gonna happen? I just don't know that the water cooler conversations are occurring anymore because so many people work from home. You know what I mean? Like, do people turn on Teams and be like, bro, did you watch House of Dragon last night?
But it's all online.
It's all online now.
You got
but see, but that's what I mean. Like, they turn into memes rather than opportunities to have that discourse. You know what I mean? Like, I would like, because I missed all of that with.
But I'm sure there's what's called a Discord. Where if you want to do that, you can do that. And I'm sure people like Discord is dope because it's like people in there talking and just arguing and having conversations. But then it's trolls, so
people cooking you just because you don't know something. You know what I mean? The James type that done read it all. Like, you stupid idiot. We never happen like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get that either. You know?
I just like even like, cause the book is the book. I have that. Like, it's cool when they make the changes, and I like to debate whether they were good or bad or in between. Like, so I'm not mad at some of the changes, which, again, how y'all feel about Helena? Like, it's similar to the book. She does die. But her children die in a much more brutal way. Like, they're going down and they actually get ripped apart by the common folk. Cause at that point, people are so like upset at the target.
I think that's going to happen, but I think it's just not going to be, there's going to be something, an equivalent that's going to push the people against her like all the way. So I actually been wondering who and what that's going to look like. But I don't know. I really wasn't attached to her. I've been seeing more public commentary about people really being bothered by it because I guess women really just connected with Helena or something. I ain't really connect with her for whatever reason. It just felt like she just like an airhead, like up in the stars, in the clouds, like wanting to watch butterflies and stuff. Like, so I just kind of like, shut up.
Like, I feel bad because she like almost didn't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like animals and children. Like, she was so childlike, and she.
I did appreciate some of the later conversations when she spoke her mind about Rhaenyra, which helped me understand her a little better. At first, she came across like an airhead who's just like not aware of the reality of war. But then what I realized is that that's exactly why she's that way, is because she don't believe in that stuff. She don't think, she thinks Rhaenyra and people like that are ugly. She thinks that whole game is like that's not what's beautiful in the world. Like, she thinks
she's a little off. But two of those things, it makes me think of two things that were dope. One is Rhaenyra went full crazy lady with her Targaryen
uniform.
I'm that
crowd. That joint was tight though.
It was vicious.
I don't know. I'm like, she talking about monsters and the wall, and her like, another crazy queen or king, and then her heel turn where Helena went out the window and she was just like, I'm just gonna close that back, get back to business.
But what y'all think about how she had the old boy go kill the priest inside of
that was crazy too,
man. I think they did a great job. This whole turn, I think instead of it being very gradual where you could see it coming, I think they kind of delayed it, which I actually think is more realistic because she's resisting. I'm like my dad. My dad would do this. Like, she's literally trying so hard to do everything the noble way like her dad.
Yeah.
And Damon is constantly telling her, man, go cut everybody throat in there. Man, go burn that whole village down. Like, and she's like, no, my dad wouldn't do that. Only for her to realize at the breaking point, I gotta go full. I gotta go full evil. Like, I gotta get on that. So now it's like everything is that way now, which I don't know. I just kind of like that.
And it's funny, like, she literally, if she had listened to Damon, they could have just cooked Tumbleton.
Yeah, because it happened anyway.
Exactly.
And got the gold and got everything and just been solidifying her power and taking out some additional heirs and everything.
And that's how the Lannisters were. The Lannisters did not play games. They did not care. They did not care.
That's what's cool about this is it's almost like history learned because, you know, even in Game of Thrones and in the books and all that stuff, they'll reference the mistakes that were made by the previous kings and stuff. And then you got to be a little bit more smart when you don't have nuclear weapons or dragons.
That's what I consider them nukes.
Yeah.
I like to think of them that way.
Right.
I like to say
Well,
if you don't got a nuke, you don't got leverage like that. Like,
but even the depiction on the devastation of the town and like, and like how things were burning down, like it kind of felt like a bomb was dropped on them. You know what I mean? So,
I think they wasted Ormond in that. The high tower, the one that can't deal with the smells. I liked him a lot. I like the complexity. Well, because I hated him so much. Right.
So you mean them killing him off is a waste, or
as a
you
character,
feel like
as an actor, a character for that, because he was so smart, right? Like he was so savvy and smart. At least the way they got to him, I feel like I was convinced that they were going to drop horse manure into the castle and have him. You know what I mean? Like something they will have to creatively figure out how to get to him because he was always sort of one step ahead. Like Damien in a way. Like I thought he was like their equal foe in that way.
I thought that was I think there's always in this sort of Game of Thrones universe, the people you want to die the most. I think he did a good enough job ascending himself up my list so that his death was the most satisfying to me.
Yes, but I
don't
season.
Like how I don't know.
Like
I was curious
who killed him.
Oh, I love that part.
I thought it was just I don't know. It was unexpected.
He was so smug.
Yes.
So cowardly and soft. I felt like it was fitting for him to be humiliated even in his death by a true goon, right?
Yes.
But I don't know. I didn't necessarily really care because they haven't had a history of giving me satisfying deaths.
Yeah.
So Joffrey was probably number one.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going to be hard for anybody to top that.
Yeah.
But in terms of this season, that was the most satisfying. I don't know about y'all.
Sir Kristen Cole joint was
that was
best.
yours? Yeah. It was so anticlimactic. I think that's what bothered me about his.
I felt the same way about Ormond. It seemed anticlimactic to me. Yeah.
Okay.
Ormond, because again, Roddy kills him, but I think it probably would have mattered more if we knew who Roddy the Ruin was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you'd have been like,
the same way with Sir Christian Cole. I would have liked to know who the little pick with the bow and arrow was that killed him.
They really are a mirror of each other.
Up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And he was cold. Like he was one of the more noble, not noble people. Like he would speak to the fact that he didn't maintain his nobility. Right. But like his relationship with Rhaenyra just sort of went off screen. And I'm like, well, whatever happened with them? Like are any of these kids his or no? And she just tossed him aside.
Because in the book, he didn't like this one came off. He was a little bit more heroic. They gave him like a battle and all that stuff, which I get. I kind of like that pivot, like let him go out kind of like a G, but they were like that kind of redeemed him a little bit. Where in the book, he still died more of a villain.
It's all the wire, bro.
Yeah.
Kristen Cole's like Weebay. Like you kind of want something more out of it, but that's not how it go. You go to jail. And he just got shot in the face. But you know, Ormond, same thing. He ain't had no corners. So, he ain't had no power for real. He stuck on one corner, they boxed him in.
Yeah. But nah, man.
I'm curious for you, and I don't want to cut you off, but I just want to at least put this in the back of your head. Pause. See,
like, damn. You just say the back of my throat, just get it over with. Jesus.
Season. What's your rating? And then we'll end with this one, and then me and Lav can give our ratings too. But like 1, 2, and then 3, like you know, what? How do you
think the seasons?
Yeah, because we never got your rating on season 1 or 2.
I would probably. Ooh, that's a hard one. It's blending all together right now.
That's kind of why I wanted to bring it up because, again, it's different for you because you had the opportunity to binge it, and I always because when I have that opportunity, it's rare because y'all know I watch everything, but every once in a while I'll find something that was like, oh crap, and you get to binge it. It's a whole different experience, you know.
I thought I would probably say 8.5 season 1, 8 season 2, 7.5 season 3.
Really?
I think they've lost a little bit of ground for me each. And I know the action is picked up. So I don't know. I might just be a politic and having conversations guy.
Mine is like the exact opposite. Like
I feel like the action is picked up, but I feel like they've gotten more further away from I was coming off of Game of Thrones, and your point was very valid.
Just like his Call of Duty style, Jonathan wants to sneak around. He a spy. He don't want to see the war.
Yeah, like the guy that was most intriguing to me, oddly enough, is the guy that's walking around with what's the Targaryen?
They're strong. Yeah.
Yeah, the Whisperer guy. The Master Whisperers. Yeah.
Whisperers are the most, just like the first season where they had.
So Larys is just a whisperer. Like he's not an old maester.
No, he's just a whisperer.
Oh, okay.
And he comes from a noble house strong, which
right.
Interesting because that's who they think, one of the rumors that's who Rhaenyra's kids actually belong to. But just like Tyrion,
ain't no rumor. She was getting knocked down.
Well, some of it was what's our guy Kristen Cole, but just like with Tyrion and just like with Varys, because these characters are deformed, he had his club foot, he couldn't be a fighter. You have to be a bit harder. Yeah. So those are the characters that they prop up that lean on other strengths, and you know, that's kind of what he was the master of whisperers.
Yeah, like that watching it made me more frustrated and annoyed with certain people. All the politicking and the gaming and the playing people, that part of it. And I think to feel that visceral response makes me feel like I've enjoyed that much more, even though I wanted those people to die.
It's understandable.
Right?
But Lof, what'd you say? What was your ratings?
Mine is like probably the opposite. Like I feel like it's progressively gotten better to me because I think in some respects HBO does this. You know, they kind of try to get you to really understand who these characters are. So the character development can leave you with some slow episodes in them initial seasons. I feel like even with this, I was like, wow, how did Rhaenyra go from like a baby to jumping all the way to an adult? Like they just was throwing me off, but it's paid off because season 2 was jumping. And now season 3, I feel like there was very rarely like lulls. I'm like, they're going to war, but watch, they're going to make it real quiet at certain points. And I don't think they did that. I think they kept the pressure high, made you feel like the stakes was high, made you see as soon as Rhaenyra had sort of a seemingly victory, it just turned immediately into the people need this, the people need that. Where's the money? We don't have, like, she had to be a queen all of a sudden.
When you want the job and finally get it.
But I guess I can also acknowledge that a lot of the political back channel stuff is not as integral. Because again, they're giving us so much more dragons and fighting.
The Targaryens are just,
like I think that's because I prefer that. It's less of an issue for me.
Yeah, they're not really a thoughtful lineage. But that's what I love about, again, man, and kudos to George R.R. Martin for kind of creating this universe. There's so much in each of these that people pick up on. Like some people are like, man, I love it when it's in Winterfell, or I love the Lannisters, or like even me, like we joked and y'all like, of course, but I liked the White Walkers part of Game of Thrones, which of course isn't in this because it's the historical piece. So it's missing the political intrigue. Some people, but there's so much in this and these characters are so well developed that you can literally latch on to whole different parts and have a different experience and enjoyment based on the portion and the characters that you like. But that's what I like. All the characters tend to matter. You tend to know who they are, and that's what makes things fun. But I'm more along the lines with Lof, where I think season 2 was an 8 and season 3 is more of an 8.5. Season 2 was slow. And that's why I think for Jonathan, it was better because we had to wait so long. Like season 2 ended right before the big battle happened. And then season 3 picks up and they have the battle. So I feel like I'd have been like season 2 more if it culminated with the battle and then got into season 3. But you know, it was kind of like, oh, that's the last episode. And some of it is being spoiled from Game of Thrones, where typically that season finale is something big or grand or somebody dies or something crazy. And that one kind of just ended with, hey, something's going to happen. Just be prepared. And, you know, I know what was coming. So I was like, hey, man, where's the battle? So,
and I really liked the dragon part of it. That was something that was such a long buildup in Game of Thrones.
Right.
Like this is just like, they're constantly a big chess piece that's being manipulated to do what they need to do. So I love that part. John likes
news alert. The show about dragons. The guy doesn't care about anything about the dragons.
Right.
Like really, I just like it's just a moniker, right? It's just their house name. They're not actually be dragons. Like Game of Thrones the same way, and I think that's why I was so apprehensive about getting on to the show is because when I found out that they were dragons in the show, I'm like, oh man, there's some more wizardry, Lord of the Rings type dang stuff. Man, I don't want to see that. I thought this was more like Bridgerton. You know what I mean? Like, not that I watched any of Bridgerton, but my expectation was different. And so, you know what I mean? Like the supernatural lore part of it is not intriguing for me in particular. I mean, I want to see them fighting and going to war, but I just thought it was going to be more hand-to-hand combat at bows and you know what I mean, swords and stuff.
So cool is it gives you that. So if you're like, man, I'm tuned out. Like I just want to see the swords and shields guys go back and forth. Yeah. I just want to see the political. I think that they do a good enough job where you get to see, like, you know how sometimes where kind of like Hulk or whatever, where you have a person in the superhero team that just don't get no love. Like he does a good job of giving everybody their due. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. And I wanted to say this is probably too nerdy or whatever, but there's a lot of people going back and forth now. And of course, George R. Martin hasn't finished, but hit the story. But a lot of people are saying that Aemond or Damon are the ones that end up being the what's the White Walker King?
Oh, really?
Like, you know what I mean? Because he's riding a dragon. Comes back. Somebody in the historical lineage is that person. And remember, he had an eye patch or whatever. So it's like, oh, it's Aemon or it's David. So I just think that's, just interesting. I don't know if that's going to be true or not, but just
I mean, they showed his backstory. That's the only thing I'm like, y'all already showed the backstory and the actor wasn't Damon. So
yeah, I don't know. But I think you got to remember, again, movies and books are going to be different. So I think that the book might veer down that road, and that's what people are thinking. Because I don't even remember what they made the Night King. That's what it was. I don't even know what they. Yeah. I know that he was turned by the little children,
elf people. Yeah,
but
the woods people. Yeah. But they showed that already. That's why I'm like, I don't see how they can undo it. Yeah, you can look it up. It's a scene. They showed the backstory of the Night King. He got stabbed with the dragon glass by them little elf people, and they was like. He wasn't Damon, like.
But I couldn't remember if it was the Night King or just one of the first, or one of the ones that they showed how it happened. And I think people were kind of like, well, maybe, again, since we have the Harrenhal thing and she's got the children of the night in the woods and all that stuff, like, was more Aemon because he has the eye patch? Like, was he the one that ends up getting stabbed for this one? But
no, but I just looked it up. They said it again.
They did.
Like, the Night King was created by the children of the forest who pressed a dragon glass dagger into the heart of a captured human first man.
Yeah, the Night King didn't have an eye patch though. It was the guy, one of his riders that had one of his horsemen that had it.
Yeah, the horseman did.
The theory is that one of the riders is.
Yeah.
But I wonder how one of the first men was able to ride a dragon, but whatever. I guess it's a dead dragon, so he could do whatever.
Yeah, that's all I interpreted it that way.
James, never go full nerd. You just go full nerd.
I'm sorry. I promised I wasn't going to. I did better with Secret War and Battle War World and all that stuff. I avoided it. And then we got these dragons and all right, man. Let's wrap. That's it.
All right, man. Y'all go watch Lioness next week or this week or tonight, whatever it is. Go watch and Lioness and Silo. I can't wait for Silo to end. I'm getting so sick of the chick, Common's wife that's running. I'll be like, man, at some point I'm gonna be like, babe, listen, I don't know what that computer is telling you, but you need to relax and chill. You're doing too much. It's not hard, man. You can't convince me that somebody who has a child can be that sinister. Not her. She's too soft. It just don't fit with the character. But
and that's one of the things I didn't like from the difference. Like, again, like sometimes I like when they make changes, sometimes I don't. I don't like how they elevated the Sims because, like, one, I don't care about Camille, and then two, I love Common, but man, his acting, this is above his ability. Like, he does a good job.
They're asking way too much of Common.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
so I will let y'all know I did start Silo. So at some point, I will probably be caught up like John.
All right. Uh-oh. What season are you in?
1. Okay. It's just a lot on TV right now.
It is a whole lot. Yeah. But it's keeping your interest, though. What episode are you on?
I don't know. But it's okay. Like, I'm basically optimistic because of you all and other people have told me how good it is. So I'm like, I'm not really thinking about
Paradise.
I don't have expectations of my own. I'm kind of like gonna follow. I'm gonna see it through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man version of slower, more deliberate, but same.
Paradise.
Wrote Paradise.
Yeah. All right, man. That's it. Yeah. This has been, man, a great episode of the Real Kings podcast. Check us out everywhere you get your podcasts. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, rate, and review. Send us some comments, some feedback. We're waiting for Dane to get back from the back rooms with Jermaine over in North Carolina so they can come tell us that they all agree that The Dark Knight Rises is the best Batman of the trilogy series. Until next week, we love y'all. Go watch some films. Go watch some movies. We'll talk to you some more Lanterns tonight. This better be good or James Gunn is cooked.
Peace.